Now it's on again.
All right. And welcome to the Village of Lake Bluff's Board of Trustees meeting on this February 25th, 2019.
It's hard to hear.
Can't hear? Can you hear me?
Your microphone.
Oh, the microphone.
It's on.
Now can you hear? I will enunciate. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good. All right, can we have the call to order, please?
Trustee Ankman. Here. Trustee Dewar.
Here.
Trustee Grenier.
Here.
Trustee Lemieux.
Here.
Trustee Meyer.
Here.
Trustee Toll.
Here.
Would everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to suggest, because we have a great many of our public safety folks with us here, and we certainly hope that they don't have to get called out for any reason, but I'm going to move everything up. I ask to move up number 11 in our packet, which is a resolution honoring the public service of Police Chief David Belmonte. And David, I'm going to ask you to come on up here. And this is there's a great deal of sadness on one hand, great deal of pride in what you're doing, and wonderful hopes and things for your next endeavor.
Thank you.
You have worked very hard for it.
Thank you.
So let me read this. This is a resolution honoring the public service of Police Chief David Belmonte. Whereas, after serving as a community service officer in the village of Vernon Hills, and upon the recommendation of Police Chief Fred Day, David Belmonte began his services to the residents of Lake Bluff on September 1st, 1989, as a police patrolman. Whereas, David Belmonte was acknowledged early in his career by his superiors as a highly motivated police officer, as demonstrated by his duties as a field training officer, breath alcohol operator, evidence technician, senior shift patrol officer, and communications supervisor within his first 5 years of service. And whereas, after 6 years of service to the village, David Belmonte was promoted to the rank of police sergeant, where he received numerous commendations and praise, inside as well as outside the organization, for such acts as successfully apprehending a fleeing felon pursued by Lake Forest officers for numerous auto burglaries, coordinating the Police Toys for Tots program that received the Marine Corps Commander's Award, and leading Lake Bluff's efforts to achieve its first successful review by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, CALEA. And whereas recognizing David Belmonte's strong administrative skills and management aptitude, Police Chief Bill Gallagher designated him a Police Department Commander in 2003. And whereas on January 25th, 2007, David Belmonte was promoted to the rank of Deputy Chief of Police. And whereas following a nationwide search for a new Chief of Police and consideration of 123 candidates from 24 states, David Belmonte was appointed by the Village Board and Trustees of Lake Bluff's 10th Chief of Police on March 1st, 2014. And whereas through his career as a department leader, David Belmonte has placed a strong emphasis on the importance of training and advocated for the professional development of his team and himself, including completion of a Master's of Arts from Webster University, the Police Staff and Command at Northwestern University School for Public Safety, the FBI National Academy, and certification by the Illinois Associations of Chiefs of Police. And whereas David Belmonte has provided leadership to multiple professional associations and internal working committees, including the Lake County Chiefs of Police Association Executive Board, the Illinois Police Accreditation Coalition Executive Board, the Lake County Incident Management Assistance Team, the Lake County Major Crash Assistance Team Executive Board, the Northeast, wow.
I know.
the Northeast Illinois Regional Crime Lab Board of Directors, the Lake County Underage Drinking Professional Enforcement Committee, the Lake Forest Lake Bluff Speak Up Coalition Executive Board, the Intergovernment Risk Management Agency Police Chief Group, the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials, the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agency as an assessment team leader, the Village Technology Committee, the Village Safety Committee, and did you ever have time to come to the office? Okay. And whereas David Belmonte has been instrumental in improving officer safety and the village's risk management practices, as shown by the village's 2013 reduction of its 5-year ratio of claims to contributions from 38.34 to 0.87%, resulting in reduced expenses for the village and safer working practices. And whereas David Belmonte played a critical role in the village's 2014 partnership and consolidation with 4 other communities for public safety dispatch services to realize increased efficiency and sufficient financial savings, including utilizing shared radio frequencies, streamlining technology and infrastructure upgrades, and building redundancies to provide consistent dispatch services. And whereas, with a strong understanding of the importance of volunteerism and love, and how Lake Bluffs has provided firefighting services for decades, David Belmonte has been a loyal supporter, team member, and friend to the Lake Bluff Fire Department, as well as all other village departments. And whereas Chief of Police David Belmonte has received numerous awards throughout his 3 decades of law enforcement services, including the Illinois Police Accreditation Coalition Service Award, the Commission on Accreditation Assessor Service Award, and the Lake Bluff Police Department's Life Saving Award. Whereas David Belmonte has personally invested in the community outside of Village Hall with his faithful participation in the Lake Forest Lake Bluff Rotary Club, the Lake Bluff History Museum Ghost Walk, the Blue Knights Motorcycle Club, and the Lake Bluff Halloween Hot Dog Roast, among many, many other activities. Whereas the strong support of David's family, including Brenda, Kelly, and Stephen, have contributed greatly to his service and accomplishments on behalf of the village of Lake Bluff. Now therefore be it resolved by the village president and the board of trustees of the village of Lake Bluff, Illinois, that the village of Lake Bluff hereby recognizes David Belmonte for his many significant contributions to the village and its residents. And such recognition and the gratitude of the village of Lake Bluff be publicly expressed to David Belmonte for his service to the community, and that this resolution be recognized in the minutes of this proceeding and an executive copy be delivered to David Belmonte. David, you have the admiration, love, loyalty of this community. We thank you so very, very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I had to write this down because I'm not going to remember this. It was almost 30 years ago, actually, this week that I walked into this room, well, half of this room, because we actually put the addition on. You guys are floating in the air over here. But I started the written test to become a police officer in Lake Bluff, and I couldn't have dreamt what my career had in store for me here. Working in Vernon Hills as community service officer, and I was excited to come to Lake Bluff. Even though I grew up in Libertyville, Lake Bluff was always my second home, since my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents all lived in the area here. And I always had memories of going to the beach, the downtown, walking with my grandparents, and of course, some of us still remember the Lake Bluff laundromat, getting our hair cut, going to White's Variety Store and picking up stuff. So it was fun to come and work here. And the ironic part was Lake Bluff called and offered me the job, and 2 days later, Libertyville also called and offered me a job. And it wasn't tough. I ended up coming to Lake Bluff, so even though I had the chance to stay where I grew up. So 30 years has gone incredibly fast. I remember when I started, we had just moved into the public safety building. And we had one computer there that was connected to the state police. There was a huge boom mic that came out of the wall that we would dispatch with, and the radar units we had were basically the size of a traffic cone that we had bungeed to the front dash of the squad car, and you'd hope you wouldn't hit a bump so it'd come flying back. We had Smith & Wesson .357 revolvers, drove Dodge Diplomats, there was no air conditioning or cell phones, and we got that for the bargain rate of $12.98 an hour was my starting rate. Sorry, Drew. While I've been here, I've worked for 5 village presidents, 5 village managers, 2 police chiefs, and I've seen that one computer grow into a network that now provides a computer for every officer with access to almost all the local, state, federal records, things we can imagine. The old teletype has now become instant messages, emails, and text messages. We use the computers for fingerprints, controlling radio traffic. We can broadcast remote video images, and of course, though, these computers also brought a whole new type of crime. Our squads are now state-of-the-art mobile offices with police and fire systems, tactical equipment, all kinds of investigative and life-saving equipment in there. So I've seen us go from a small North Shore Police Department to what's now an internationally recognized accredited police agency. We have staff members speak at conferences on issues facing other small departments, taking leadership roles on our task forces, and we've been recognized for our efforts on community policing, recruitment, juvenile programs, and maintaining our accreditation as one of the smallest agencies in the United States. And while I've been here, I've seen some of the most wonderful events you can imagine, some horrible events that I pray to forget, and the range of human experiences that could be a movie. And 30 years of that's been a lot, but what's amazed me is the care and humanity shown every day by my coworkers on the police department. In every roll call, we've always stressed to our officers to treat every person as if it was a member of their own family, and I think the majority of the time we've accomplished that. I've seen our officers use their own money to buy homeless people meals. We've seen stranded travelers helped with a hotel room that we paid for out of our own pocket. Saw an officer buy diapers for a family with no money. Officers buy Christmas trees for families that couldn't afford it. We've even had an officer who picked up a portable air conditioner for an elderly family whose air conditioning went out during one of our heat waves. Our officers have stopped after work to help shovel snow, cut lawns, get ducks out from under the viaduct, which happens a lot, and even drive a person to an appointment one time. They've changed tires, windshield wipers, license plates, batteries and smoke detectors or remotes, and even opened a bottle of nail polish that was stuck closed for a lady one time. So we're here to serve and protect, and our officers go above and beyond that in caring for the community, and working with them, I've loved every minute of it. So I owe a thank you to all my coworkers that I've worked with. You've made every day an adventure in one way or another. And of course, I'd like to thank Drew, Jake, Chief Graff, Jeff, Mike, Bettina, and the village board members for all your support. Members of the fire department and public works, you guys rock. You're just awesome with what you accomplish. Also like to thank my mentors I've had, Fred Day, Bill Gallagher, and Mike Hosking, who seems to keep coming in after me. I'm not sure if he's filling my boots or cleaning up my mess, but we'll find out which way. And most of all, thank you to my family, Brenda, Kelly, and Stephen, for their never-ending support and understanding of the strange schedules, constant phone calls, and just being there to support me, and of course Brenda being our animal control for almost 30 years here also. So in fact, as recently as just 2 weeks ago, coming in to triage a dog that got hit by a car. So everybody, thank you very much. I appreciate the recognition. This went incredibly fast. I can't believe it's been 30 years. Thank you.
Wonderful.
And if we understand, if people would like to take a quick exit, don't feel like you have to stay around here. But you can if you'd like. We thank you very much for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Special use scoliosis.
Brenda, thanks for everything.
Dave retired, she didn't.
Yes, that's true.
She's on the hook.
Okay, yeah.
Still on the hook.
All right, we will now go back to the regular agenda. And we have the consideration of the minutes of the February 11th, 2019.
Oh, I'm sorry, that resolution, we need a motion and a second.
Oh, that's right, we do. Thank you.
Second.
Do I have, who?
You do. You have Mr. Dewart and then Mr. Meyer.
Meyer, okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much for that. Now we have the consideration of the minutes of the February 11th, 2019 Village Board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Anchorman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and second by Mr.
Lemieux.
Lemieux. Okay, thank you. All right, any additions, amendments to it? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. At this point in time, we allow 15 minutes for anyone who might like to speak on something that is not on this evening's agenda. Do we have anybody here that would like to do so? Okay. We will now have the village finance report. Number one is the warrant report for February 16 through 28, 2019. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Grenier. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr.
Lemieux.
Dewart. Mr.
Lemieux.
Lemieux again, thank you. All right. Expenditure of village funds for payment of invoices in the amount of $199,520.85 for February 16th through 28. All right. Do we have any questions regarding the warrant report for our finance director? Hearing none, could we have a roll call on that, please?
Trustee Ankman?
Aye.
Trustee Dewar?
Aye.
Trustee Grenier?
Aye.
Trustee Lemieux?
Aye.
Trustee Meyer?
Aye.
Trustee Toll?
Aye.
We also now have, next on the agenda is the 2019 finance report. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Anchorman and seconded. Was that
Second.
Mr. Meyer.
Mr. Meyer, thank you. I'll turn this over to our director.
Sales tax revenue for October and November 2018 was $534,593 and is $3,273 greater than the prior year revenue from October and November. Home rule sales tax for October and November of 2018 of $167.42 is $2,404 greater than October and November of 2017. The state continues to charge an admin fee, and the May through November fees total $8,732. Building permit revenue for fiscal year 19, May through January, is $325,806 compared to the $431,920 for the prior fiscal year, same period. Fiscal year 19 general fund expenditures of $7,415,146 are $1,058,050 greater than the expenditures for the same period of fiscal year 18. Capital expenditures year-to-date are $1,235,704, or $908,534 greater than the year-to-date expenses from fiscal year 18. Current expenditures are consistent with or less than budget.
Any questions for our finance director? Hearing none, could we have a voice vote? It's all in favor.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty, village administrators report.
Thank you. I do have one item. It's not on the agenda, but it's flowing from Saturday's Finance Committee meeting. For those of you who were present, and many of you were, there was a follow-up item from the November 29th, 2018 Finance Committee meeting where the Finance Committee requested that on the topic of fire and EMS services and how they're being provided, the committee heard a report back in November about some options that the village had to include to elevate to advanced life support services. And at that meeting back in November, the committee wanted to see a schedule on how the village might achieve that and what the timing of that would be and what resources would be necessary to do that. On Saturday, the fire department presented a plan to go to ALS, both non-transport and transport. They were prepared and had that information, and it was discussed at the meeting. But at the committee level, there was a recommendation and the desire was for me to report out at this meeting, because of timing purposes, was to direct me to authorize an expenditure that wasn't budgeted, but within the contingency funds available, approximately $50,000, to go ahead and get the necessary equipment to begin offering advanced life support, non-transport, by our fire EMS staff here at Village Hall, Public Safety Building. So a $50,000 expenditure, there is available money in the current year fiscal plan from the contingency to take this action, and part of it, and I'll kind of summarize the conversation at the Finance Committee level, and certainly members can chime in if I miss something, but because of the way we are staffing now, we are arriving on calls earlier than we had in the previously, because we're coming from a much shorter distance and centralized at our station, and we're staffing during peak service demand times, so we're getting at the scene earlier, and so the desire and the ability for us, because we're trained in competencies to provide a number of interventions to improve outcomes for patients, the idea of giving them better tools to give both the hospital and give them better information to provide more interventions to, again, improve patient outcomes. That was the conversation, and for this minimal expenditure and allocation of ongoing operating expenditures, that this seemed like an easy decision for the group. So that was a direction. Again, it's not specifically on this agenda, but it would appear later on a warrant item, but to go ahead and direct me to make that so it won't be a surprise in the future, that was the goal of the committee. Mr. Chairman, I don't know if I missed anything.
No, I think that summarizes it well. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on that? Because with this unofficial approval, we haven't voted on it yet, I know that the fire department has got an invoice ready to go first thing tomorrow morning. And thank you.
Yes, the PO is probably on my desk already. I don't know if you brought it upstairs. This has been one of the great things of Lake Forest Hospital becoming our resource hospital, and it has been their approach to emergency medicine, and we are blessed to have Doc Peters here, who has been a strong supporter and volunteer for the Lake Bluff Fire Department over the years, and he heads up the emergency medicine at Northwestern Lake Forest Medicine, so he has been a huge asset. He came in with his team last week, and out of their schedule came in and spent time with me to educate me, which was very helpful and appreciated immensely. But he is a great resource to our community, to our department, and I'm not certain if you have anything to add to that, Dr. Peters, at all?
Appreciate your comments.
No, okay.
We're happy to help.
That's right.
Happy to address questions if people have questions.
And a proud graduate of the Lake Bluff school system.
Drew, I do have one question.
Yep.
When will this be effective? When will it be on the streets?
Well, that was the other part of it. This equipment is, if I recall correctly, 60 days was really the window of time when we can, from soup to nuts, issue the PO, and then we're getting in line. John Crumsey is heading us up. He's our chief medical officer for the fire department, and he has outlined a plan that would get this done within 2 months, and part of it is waiting on the equipment because a lot of the pre-planning work has been completed, and they're geared up and just waiting for me to sign the PO.
Okay, sign away.
Yes, some of us aging people just want you to go quickly.
Peter, they won't need to do anything more than the consensus would reflect in the minutes. That's all they need to do. They don't need to make a motion.
No.
All right, that's all I need. I'm happy to answer any other questions if there are any.
And we appreciate the thoroughness of the department in pushing this forward. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right, do you have any other reports, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Village Attorney's Report.
No report tonight.
Village President's Report. Actually, I have a couple of appointments here. One is the appointment to the Police and Fire Commissioners for Gerald McDermott, and to have Senior Resources Commission Mark Dewart upon his retirement in May from the Village Board after serving for 8 years. Thank you. Has consented to represent Lake Bluff on the Senior Resources Committee. And we certainly appreciate that. Okay. So, do I have a motion to appoint Gerald McDermott and Mark Dewart?
So moved.
That's so moved by Mr. Meyer. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Second.
Mr. Grenier.
Mr. Grenier, whatever. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. All righty, we now have we've done number 11. We have number 12, which is a resolution establishing the regular meeting dates and committee of the whole meeting dates for the Board of Trustees for fiscal year 2019-2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Ankerman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Toll. Illinois statutes require the village board to provide notice of the regular schedule of meetings. In keeping with past practice, the proposed schedule establishes the regular meeting of the village board scheduled start time 7 p.m. on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Additionally, the proposed schedule also includes committees of the whole, Cal meeting dates, scheduled start time of 6 p.m. for the same night as the regular meeting of the village board. Please note that the attached meeting schedules include only one meeting for May, Memorial Day holiday, October, and December. While Columbus Day is one of 10 federal holidays, it is not a holiday the village observes, so we can consider that meeting, or not, depends. As previously discussed, staff will continue to hold significant Cal meetings in the public safety mood and provide cancellation notice if there's a lack of business for this. I think that just to add to this, the second meeting in March, which will coincide with the spring break for the public school system, we will not be meeting this year. I think we discussed that we did not need to do so. We do have some people who are luckily taking some vacation time. All right, any questions consider on that one? If not, all in favor?
I had one quick
I'm
question.
sorry, go ahead.
Maybe I just didn't hear it, but did you say something about the August dates, because it says August 23rd and August 26th? Does that sound?
That looks wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where's, okay. I'm looking at this thing, it doesn't, yeah, but do you see it, Drew?
Give me one
It
second.
looks like it should be the 12th and the 26th?
See that?
I'm not,
Yep, those
yeah.
aren't the right dates. That's a
Okay.
typo. Hold on one second.
Let's get that cleared up.
It should be the 12th and the 26th.
All right, with that stipulation, any other?
Well, and just one clarification,
Yeah.
the village has historically only met once in October. Actually, I'm not certain when that practice started, observing Columbus Day, because it's not a village holiday. The village doesn't observe that day, but for whatever reason, we stopped having those meetings on those days. So if you want to, we can cancel the meeting, or you can schedule the meeting, and we just play it by ear. If there's something to talk about, we can have the meeting. But I wanted to bring that up because it came up
The
last year.
The Y part?
Yeah, and so I promised Trustee Meyer that we would bring it up next time this happened, that we would.
I would be happy for us to meet on Columbus Day. What was the other part of this issue I had, though? I don't remember now.
Which is
There
the
was another-
idea, you were, I think.
There was another part of it, and I don't remember what it is now. I know I complain about things to you, and then I forget what they are.
But the issue was, I had a note that we would bring it up next time we set the schedule of the village board, that would be a meeting you can put it on the calendar, and just like this upcoming meeting of March, if there's
Right.
not necessarily business items, then you
Right.
can punt it.
That seems reasonable.
So you can add it in to the schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be October 14th and 28th. So that's the desire of you all, you can.
Okay,
Sounds great.
all right. So taking this as amended, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Aye.
you. All right, the last specific item here is the second reading of an ordinance granting a cable television franchise to the Comcast.
Yeah, keep reading.
Sorry. Sorry.
What did I do?
Nothing. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do.
Well, gee, thanks. What was just the grab? Okay, it's okay? I just got to remember. We are on TV too, right? Okay, all right.
Our ratings are going up as we speak.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. I tell you, we've got maybe a half person reading. Okay. Second reading of the ordinance granting a cable television franchise to Comcast of Illinois. This is the second reading. We talked about it at our last meeting.
And we are still working out final arrangements with Comcast, so we'd ask that you defer that to the next meeting.
I noticed that we didn't have the explanation here on my thing. I thought maybe I had lost it.
Nope.
So I would, okay, so now we didn't have it, so we will defer that, obviously. Thank you. That was what the grab was for. Thank you. Okay, all right. Okay, do we have a trustees report this evening? I guess not. I don't believe we have executive session tonight.
Other than the minutes and.
The minutes, unless anyone has a concern about the minutes? All right, I'll give a motion for the consideration of the minutes of the February 11, 2019 executive meetings. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Ankerman, and a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grenier. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, I have a motion if somebody would like to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Mr.
Second.
Grenier, and second by
Mr.
Mr.
Meyer.
Meyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Very well done.
7:30.
Does help.